Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum and good morning. Today I am going to talk to you about the US elections, the results. We all know that Joe Biden has won and elected as the president, and though President Trump is dragging his feet, but the result is obvious that in a month or so Joe Biden will be taking over as the president and Kamala Harris is going to take over as the vice president. Now there is a speculation in Pakistan that how would the policies, US policies, they will relate to Pakistan. So first of all, I would like to emphasize one point that the policies of any nation, whether it be USA, China, Pakistan, Russia, India, are dictated by the national interests. There are no permanent friends or foes. Therefore, we must understand that when we see the US election results, election of Joe Biden as the president, and then figure out that what is going to be the policies of the United States, these policies will be for USA and not for Pakistan. We have to tailor our policy in response to their policies and then determine that what is in the best interest of Pakistan. This is the first factor. The other is that there is, in my reckoning, there will be no the drastic shift in US policies. The US policies are likely to fundamentally remain the same. However, the global change would be that Donald Trump was more of an isolationist. He was more inward looking, and he talked about America first, about its industrial development, job opportunities, and he was not much concerned about the global reach and global engagement of USA. Conversely, in Biden's case, he, as it is said, that he is likely to rebuild US global role and through global institutions, and I think there will be more engagement in the United Nations and other at the global level. Right. Now, what will be the key factors which will determine the US's Pakistan policies? First is that we must understand that China is the main factor in determining that what is the policy, regional policy of USA. China has emerged as a global economic power. It is building its military to be a global military, which perhaps already it is. But America is a global player, the superpower, with the best military, with outreach globally anywhere in the world. So USA its policies will be continued to contain China. And for that, it has partnered with India for its Indo-Pacific role. For that, it is supplying it with technology, with economic assistance, with all strategic support, opening its markets, all kind of reach to the technology. So therefore, this is one factor which will affect Pakistan because there is a history of Indo-Pakistan conflict. Afghanistan would be another factor which will determine the Pak-US relationship. Why? Because US has substantial presence in Afghanistan. The forces will withdraw as decided by President Trump, but perhaps they will not withdraw completely, and some forces will stay for the regional presence in Afghanistan. This will create certain problems inside Afghanistan which will affect Pakistan also. The next factor which is more important is the nuclear factor. Democrats have a history of criticizing the nuclear capability and nuclear development of Pakistan. Pakistan has very credible nuclear deterrence, and it has developed missile and delivery systems which are foolproof and with an outreach in the region. The tactical nuclear weapons and the sea-based delivery system are going to come under the magnifying glass of the US administration under Biden. And how we have to handle it? Well, we need it. There's so much is going around Pakistan, and particularly the expansionist policies, Nazi-oriented policies of India. They compel us to have a credible deterrence against India for any misadventure. It has played a big role for the security of Pakistan, and it will continue playing. Another factor which will play a role in US-Pakistan relationship is the Middle East. When I talk about Middle East, I'm talking about the Arab countries, Israel and Iran. Israel has expanded its influence in entire Middle East, and the only power which challenges this authority is Iran, which has the power potential to challenge, and they have a stated rivalry and do not recognize Israel as such. Israel has a strong lobby and within USA, and it has a very sound backing by USA for its policies. So there are reports that Israel intelligence agency, in tandem along with the Indian intelligence agencies and Afghanistan intelligence agencies, are trying to undermine the security and trying to influence things within Pakistan. So this will be another factor, because Israeli lobby in within USA are likely to influence their Pakistan policies related to Pakistan. Now, these are the determinants. I talked about the policy. What should we do? How should Pakistan respond? Firstly, that we have to understand our geopolitical importance, and our relationship with USA should not be related with India. We ought to have our own relationship because we have our strength. We have our geopolitical strengths. We should not take it as a burden, rather that is an opportunity. So therefore, our policy should be of engagement with USA, and we can have harmonious relationship with USA while they continue having strategic relationship and ties with India. We should work for that. Secondly, as far as China is concerned, Americans also understand that we just cannot roll back CPAC. They would like it to be curtailed in the time dimensions and in scale, but then China has been our friend for ages, proven friend, and this CPAC is going to benefit us economically. There is going to be tremendous economic opportunities for Pakistan, and therefore we have got to balance our relationship with China and USA while keeping the CPAC intact, because that is for the benefit of Pakistan. Another factor which we must understand is that we have to put our house in order to respond to any policy by the United States. But when I say we have to put our house in order, this is politically and economically. Politically, because the kind of the political polarization we have got, any government, whether it is from any party, is not sure-footed in dealing with the external policies. Prime Minister of Pakistan is everybody's Prime Minister, whether he is from PPP, PLN or any other party. And therefore, we must respect the institutions, Parliament, the Prime Minister, the government, and the way we are handling the political crisis. We are making a laughing stock of ourselves. You like it or not, but there's a circus going on. And if this circus goes on, we create opportunities for the external players to intervene into our domestic politics. Secondly, please do not wash your dirty linen in Washington or in London. We have to sort out our affairs within the boundaries of Pakistan. When we go out and complain to the external powers, then they are the ones, then they dictate, they tell you, they fund, they intervene, and then national sovereignty is compromised. Therefore, please we must sort out our affairs within Pakistan. About Kashmir, we must understand that when Donald Trump actually looked the other way, when India unilaterally revoked Article 370 of its constitution, abrogated, finished the special status of Kashmir and made it a union territory. The worst kind of state terrorism was unleashed on the people of hapless people of Kashmir. And there Donald Trump was unable to intervene. So this intervention, this policy is likely to continue. USA is not going to ask India for any adjustments in its policies. The only thing is that diplomatically, as Kamala Harris said, that diplomatically we will ask India to have a review of its policies as regards human rights violations and there's going to be a lip service and some kind of a pressure, but it will be inadequate to compel India to review its policies. This is important. In conclusion, I would say that our internal strengths will enable us to handle the US policies towards Pakistan and towards region in a better manner. We have to create a unison, harmonious relationships between institutions so that when we sit across a table, anybody who is negotiating, he negotiates from a position of strength and not weakness. Pakistan is paramount. Pakistan's national interest is supreme, and that should drive how we conduct our state of affairs internationally. That's all I had to say. Take good care of yourself. Pakistan Zindabad.